It's time to talk sports right here on Trust TV, and it's 360 Sports as we do all day, every day. My name is Ibrahim Yusuf, welcoming you to today's program. Well, we have a bumper package right here. We're going to be talking about the African qualifiers, the AFCON qualifiers actually. The Nigeria is preparing to start, and then we have we're looking at basketball as well in Nigeria, beach volleyball, and a host of other things as well. And of course, not forgetting some transfer rumors coming from the European club season. But before we do that, I'd like to welcome my guest on the show, Ikenna Okonkwo. It's very nice to have you on the show as usual.
Thank you so much.
All right, so let's get into the swing of things. Well, when the AFCON is upon us. It's next year. The qualifiers have actually started. Some matches have already been played. Nigeria is yet to start, and we're in a group with Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, Sao Tome, and Principe. And Sierra Leone are saying that they can actually pull a shock against Nigeria. How possible do you think that is?
Everything is possible in football. I mean, impossibility is nothing when it comes to football, and not even when it comes to Africa, then West Africa. It's a whole lot for Sierra Leone to have come into Nigeria since this weekend, ahead of their match on Thursday. Okay. I mean, it goes to show that
a lot of commitment.
They want to blend with both the pitch and the environment quite early. I mean, they came in like 6 days ahead, so it's a statement already. You don't need to. You don't need to ask how ready they are.
So, do you think the mind games have already started by them coming this early?
It started before they even came in. They told us that they were coming much earlier, and they did it. And now they are here monitoring situation, and they are looking at possibilities.
And
football is
some fighting words as well.
Yeah, football is a team game. Look at what happened yesterday. Though not at this stage, but it was still football. Tanzania had to upset Cameroon to pick a ticket for, what was that team? What was that level of competition? I've forgotten, but it was a football competition that they had to. Tanzania, I mean, if you talk about football in Africa, where is Tanzania?
And Cameroon, exactly.
And then
when you look at Cameroon,
yeah, you understand. So, but they did it, you know. So it's about Super Eagles getting their ass together and make sure that they win that match, because this is their first match.
Exactly. So they need to start on a good
match, actually, after the disappointment they gave to Nigerians for not qualifying for the World Cup coming up this year, sometimes in November. So it's something they need to look out for and make sure they tight all the loose ends. I mean, from the goalkeeping side, even though our number one goalkeeper is not available, but from the goalkeeping side to the last man that will face the defense of the Sierra Leoneans, should make sure that everything is tightened, because football is a team game. Gone are the days when football is played based on one or two stars.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody has to be on top of his or her game, because an upset in football is what happens every time.
So you actually believe Sierra Leone has a realistic chance of...
I mean, even the Super Eagles themselves could also believe, and that belief should also, propel them to want to do something better. I mean, play for each other. One of the reasons why we lost that game against Ghana in Abuja was because we were not playing for each other. Everybody wants to play his own game. I mean, it doesn't happen.
So that's what are we right now to say that we still do not have a team? We have a great group of individual players, but we do not have.
We don't have a team until we have a particular technical crew that will consolidate and give us a particular playing pattern. If we have a playing pattern, it's not every player you invite. Then when you invite, it's not everyone that is meant to be on your bench.
Exactly.
Or in the starting 11.
Because the bench is as important as the starting 11 as
You understand? So you've got to invite players who will deliver based on the pattern of a particular coach or a technical crew.
Yes.
So we don't have a pattern right now. We always try 4-3-2, 3-3, 4-5-2, all those things. So we need to find a pattern for our team and then consolidate on it. By the time we are able to consolidate, I mean, when you look at what Messi played yesterday with his team, Argentina, beating Italy last week, and after about 3 days, they have to beat another team yesterday, mercilessly, 5-0. Portugal doing similar.
Exactly.
I mean, against Switzerland yesterday as well. I was watching that game, I was shaking my head. Now, these are teams that have got a pattern. So even when they are in different clubs, when they come together, they already understand
so
this
they can
is
be
how
able to do the
they
business.
play.
Yeah, so does this now come into the, where we go in part of the conversation where we start talking about having a project whereby you can have a manager that's going to be there for a while to inculcate his philosophy on the team so that the team can start playing as a unit?
I mean, it can't be overemphasized. It should be.
But unfortunately, we still don't have that project.
We don't, because we have people that are full of individual whatever interests or agenda that they have. I mean, it's time for our football structure to be structured, actually, from even those that are administering us, down to the things that happen on the pitch. Because if the people at the glass house are not, organized, so to say, they are not speaking with one voice, they are not looking at one thing at the time. I mean, it's going to also, football that is played 90 minutes, a lot of things happen off the pitch. I mean, in days, in weeks, in months. So that now rubs off on the team that play. So if things are not gotten right, administratively, we are still going to be, as Nigerians actually, we may still find a way to cope with the heartbreak of not winning. I mean, for now.
So we're still circling the drain, so to speak, right now, as it is.
Until the right things are done. Until the right things are done. The right persons that are having interest of the game at heart get in there to do what they need to do.
All right. Well, talking about having people who have the interest of the game at heart, basketball is one sport that is actually suffering that fate in Nigeria right now. Presently, the Nigerian national basketball teams, all of them, have actually been stopped from playing international tournaments for the next 2 years to be able to revamp, so to speak, as the federal government puts it. And right now, an interim management committee has been set up by the Minister of Sports, and he charges them to revamp basketball in Nigeria by going to the grassroots. And so let's take a look at the list of those people that are actually involved. We have Dr. Henry Nzeku, we have Udon Ubong Umpawa, and we have Frank Jitubo, Zenith Bank representative. I guess it's for the sponsors, Professor Ahmed Adamu, Peter Nelson, Group Captain Reinato Garba, Aderemi Adeomi, Oluchi Nzekwe, and Sani Adio. These are the people now that are in charge of running basketball in Nigeria for the foreseeable future. They have been charged to revamp basketball in Nigeria. What do we need to do? Where do we need to start from?
We have to start from is where we should start, which is the grassroots.
Okay.
The problem of sports in Nigeria is that it's like the big sports, so to say. Basketball, let's start where you should start. Football, basketball, athletics, then you could delve into volleyball, handball, and all
the rest of it.
Now, the challenge is that we are always hoping for our compatriots anyway, our citizens who are playing outside Nigeria, nothing is wrong with that. They have the right to
play.
To play or deliver any service for their fatherland. However, the bulk of plan should center on those that are
here.
Living here. We should be able to develop a plan that will even attract those that are not here to want to play here.
Come back home, yes.
We should also have a plan or a structure that will even make those that are not Nigerians to want to come here to play. Just like we that are not Nigerians going to Europe. In basketball, the powerhouses are in the US, Italy, Spain, towards Serbia as well.
Exactly.
Now, what prevents us from making our own basketball in Nigeria powerhouse for at least Africa?
Part of what the minister actually charged the committee with is setting up a national league.
That's the way to go. So it boils down to what I've said just now. Now, if we have a standard league here, I'm very happy to see that Zenith Bank, which has been the sponsor of basketball, the former board, not the board of KIDA, I'm talking about the board that was before KIDA, led by Malam Umar. He had that vision to bring in the private persons, private corporate body, the private sector generally, to come and make the league to be more or less independent of government funding.
Which is the way to go.
Which is the way to go.
Yes.
And that was how he got involved, and we got the Zenith Bank involved, and they started sponsoring. Like it was like up to 2 years or less than 3 years like that. before election held, and then this kid that came in.
Everything,
and then everything
all hell broke
went like nothing was happening. So it is the way to go. What happened, 2 days ago, by the way of the inauguration of the new persons that should be in charge. If you look at that, the structure, just shown on the TV, there are persons that have been in the around the basketball since the 80s, the 90s. Most of them have played this game. Some have administered at some point. They are not people that we didn't know.
So there are people that actually know
basketball. Know what has been and what should be. You understand? Okay. A certain Ejiku Baja who was playing in Nigeria. He was in the league before he was spotted and he left. He was playing comfortably. It was good. He could take care of anything financially here in Nigeria then. I knew him personally. He left, even though he's retired right now. And even at some point, he was even captain the Nigeria, the Tigers, which is the most senior national team men-wise. So, we could have more of this Ejiku Baja. If you go to the stadium, Package B, every day, sir, even now, as I talk to you, there are guys that are sweating it out, training in basketball.
Every day.
It happens every day, morning, afternoon, evening. Both indoor and outdoor. And especially outdoor, because that outdoor is always available for them. Do you understand?
I understand?
And it happens if you go to Area 10, which is owned by the FCTA, similar thing happens. If you go to other cities and states,
across the nation,
it happens that way. So why can't we have a structure that will bring the best out of all these people to come together and begin to have, we have a lot of private companies here. We have a lot of Dangotes and banks and all construction companies all over the place.
And sports is quite
if you present a good template for them to look at, and by the time they sign whatever, maybe 2 years or 5 years or 4 years with you, and they see that you are following, it's just a matter of time. They will keep improving on what they started with you. And it's a matter of time that even people outside Nigeria that are not Nigerians want to even come here to play. Because there's money.
Exactly.
There is a standard already in place.
And you can actually improve your game as a
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well? Yes.
So, several times that we want to play one competition or the other, and it's mostly those outside that we depend on.
Yes.
What of the times that probably their clubs don't release them?
That is a very major problem.
Do you understand?
Yeah, it is a major
Besides that, sports is meant to be, a veritable engine for engagement of the young people, young minds. Right now, our young people are not in school. Most of them that are in public schools
because of strike.
The next thing that give them that leverage is sports.
And if they don't have an avenue to actually do that,
even the public school, when they are on, some of them still go to school and still do their sports. So when they have to go for competition, they take permission from. I know a couple of them. They take permission from school, go for it, return to school. So it has a way of propelling people to do better. It has a way of making people to be sharper and to be more focused. So why can't we build on this? So
right now, you've looked at the committee set up, the Internal Management Committee for the Nigerian Basketball Federation. And you said that people we know, people we actually trust.
There are people that we know. Nelson, we know him. Of course, he's in the ministry. Professor Adamu Ahmed, I spoke with him on that Saturday. These are people that played. If you look at their heights, you know that they have actually played this game before.
Exactly.
Those that didn't, just 1 or 2 or 3 that didn't play, they have been in the administration.
So they know what basketball, Nigerian basketball is.
Yeah, most of them are even coached. Professor Adamu is the tallest one you see there on the right. Then the first person, Mr. Nzeku, he's been there. As at 1986, Mr. Nzeku was in NABA. There was one National Association of Basketball, blah, blah, blah. Then I was already born, but I didn't know him. So as far back as that time, he was in that NABA, that Basketball Association, blah, 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 in Nigeria, administering and making things happen. Is it Mr. Frank Jitubo, the third on the right as well, from the right? He's been there. He's been FCT Basketball Association chairman. He's been mentoring, people. Even that woman, these women, they're having so many private things they are doing around basketball.
We have the right blend of people to actually
get this thing done in the next 2 years. They'll give a blueprint Then officially, election will hold. People that are going to enter there will now start on a clean slate, following the structure
that has already been put in place.
Yes.
And do you think do you think that if this template is actually done and followed to the letter, 2 years, is it enough?
Yeah, 2 years is not enough to get it running, but 2 years is enough to give a foundation.
Okay.
Every structure should have first a foundation. So when there is a foundation, the blocks will be laid.
Okay. So 2 years is enough for us to lay a foundation for us to be able to build from that. Well,
Yes.
talking about building from that, we've always said that Nigeria has traditional sports. We have football, we have basketball, and then the rest just fall into place. But one particular sport that Nigeria is making inroads right now is beach volleyball. Beach volleyball is it's a relatively new sport in Nigeria, but we seem to be making very good, especially on the African continent, because we beat Côte d'Ivoire and for in the Africa Youth Games in beach volleyball. So I think that is something that we can look forward to. It's a bright spot for Nigerian sports.
I mean, all over the country, from KB to Kaduna to, I mean, we have a lot of, even don't even go to southern parts. You see a lot of beach-related atmosphere and environment that we could develop. Thankfully, the current president of Nigeria Volleyball Federation, Engineer Musa Nimrod, has been a beach person.
Okay.
In fact, before he even became the president of the federation about 5-6 years ago, he's been doing beach stuff. So this is his core area. And in football, in handball, in volleyball, I mean, he could do beach. There are beach aspects to that.
Aspects of it, exactly.
So this man has been doing a lot of, he has been spending a lot, he has been attracting sponsors, he has been, I mean, grooming people around beach volleyball. So he now, whatever he has been doing over the years, I mean, he's beginning to, bear fruit. Now we could get to the continental level and get it dusted.
And hopefully the world level.
I mean, now, so we are now targeting, we should be now targeting a world level. He's now the current man who is in charge of basketball and, I mean, volleyball entirely. I spoke with him yesterday. He was telling me that he's going for another continental qualifier somewhere in Lagos that will happen this week, between this week and next week. So a lot of passion, a lot of commitment, a lot of focus on volleyball. But that's the federation of sport we should look up for in the next 3-4 years.
But is this where the issue of continuity comes in now? Exactly. What happens in a situation where, because we talked about this earlier, whereby you'll find a situation whereby the person that is there now is passionate about it, is driving it, is making all the necessary sacrifices, but then it's a 10-year thing. He leaves, and then the next person who comes is really not into that, and then everything seems to die down. Is that where the issue of continuity comes in, having a template that everybody can follow?
It's actually a challenge. I mean, it gets me, I get worried over all of this. And that is why I keep saying government should tone down their involvement in sports. Just provide the environment.
And then let sports take care of themselves.
Let the facilities be available. Make maybe soft loan or whatever available. Put a law in place that will compel private sector to do the needful. Whoever is there leading, especially coming from a private sector background, will do better. This Engineer Nimrod has been a private person all his life, even up till now. So he's using that initiative to drive the sport, volleyball. Recently, unlike before, a number of players from Nigeria that played here, they have been seen by clubs outside Nigeria, in Europe and all. I mean, the way international happens in football, it happens in volleyball.
Exactly.
You could imagine that.
Yeah, so players get poached as well. I mean, contracts are signed.
Players are being signed and sold, and of course they are making good things for themselves and their family, and of course the country. So, gradually it's taking shape. Sport is a big industry that needs time to develop.
Exactly.
So it's taking shape.
And there are a whole host of sports out there. I mean, like a lot of them.
We have, in Nigeria right now, we have over 30 sporting federations.
That's with the ones that have federations.
I mean,
not the ones that are not even...
The one that's not even been officially accepted.
Exactly.
That are there.
Because we have a lot of them.
A lot of them. But I'm talking about for now in Nigeria, we have about 32 or 4 of them that have been officially, documented under the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport.
Exactly.
And they are there.
If all of them are given the required attention, how different do you think things would be?
You could imagine. You could imagine that if we have up to like 15 or 20 of them functioning optimally,
with leagues and sponsorship,
with so
and
many
everything.
things that are supposed to be used as backup structures, we can never be the same as a country. And the young people and every interested person, because one thing about sports is that from the time you started, maybe at 5 years, if the right structure is in place, till forever, as long as you are living, you have one or two things to do. You can't be hungry.
Exactly.
Because there are one or two things to do.
Because we've always said this, I mean, like, this is a song that we have always sang when it comes to Nigerian sports.
Yeah.
Talent is not our problem.
It's just to
harnessing the talent, that is where the issue is. Yeah. You understand? It's not going to have these people, it's not enough to have them there. But for them to even have an avenue that they can be able to showcase these talents and then be recognized, that's something as well.
That's basically what we need. For these people to be given, I mean, our young people to be given that opportunity to do what they need to do.
No, for young people to give the opportunity to do what they can do in other sports apart from just football. That is the clarion call right here. Well, still talking about football, the European football season is at its close season, and there are lots of rumors flying around concerning transfers, and lots of it. A lot of free transfers are actually gone through. Lots of players have actually made commitments to teams, and some teams have not been able to register them, but that's a story for another day. But one particular rumor that interests us is for Cyril Dessers, our very own Nigerian player. We heard that Fiorentina is now looking at that particular player. Fiorentina in Serie A right now, they have gotten some money. They were taken over, I think, 2 seasons ago by Rocco Commisso, and they have some money right now to spend. So Cyril Dessers making a name for himself, and of course on the radar of Fiorentina. Do you think the Serie A will be a good move for him?
Yeah. I think that, as of last week, I felt that story till sometimes on Thursday last week. But after then, I think I lost touch somehow. He is supposed to have tied up that bid, and there is a plan to loan him to another club or so, so that he could get matured more experience, and have more regular football. So it's a good one for him.
Okay, but do you think Serie A is the right place for him to be?
Why not? Our own Osimhen is also there.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been a number of persons, both in the past and currently, that are there, and they are making good name for themselves. So it's a good place to be. It's just that sometimes they want a player that is much advanced. You know, is a league or is a country where, you know, they go bus to bus playing.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
yes.
So it's not like a Spain that probably at the end of the day, Real Madrid, Atletico, or Barcelona. But so you see, it swings.
Exactly.
So every club wants to get something out of the season at every time. So it helps the players to.
So every season starts with a bright new hope that actually we can make something out of this. So they're trying to get as many players, good players, as they can, so they can be able to do that. So
and they always look at Africa. I mean, apart from Nigeria, look at Africa and, you know, to get players, because they don't always have the money like that to buy.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
high-profile players
from Europe and all. So they want African players that are good enough. They will pay not so much, and then they will give them so much.
I think like the French league is actually one place where African players seem to thrive a lot.
Yeah.
Understand? They seem to get this idea that, okay, fine, we go to Africa, we get these African players, and they develop themselves very well in the French league. So I think Serie A
launch and then maybe get to England.
Exactly. That's the target. Everybody wants to go where the glitter, where the glitz and glamour is. So it's a very good thing for Cyril Dessers. Well, still staying in the Serie A, Jose Mourinho is in AS Roma. First season has ended. He won the UEFA Conference League, and he seems to be angling for so much more, because when he came in, there was lots of promise that he was actually going to be able to do something for Roma with the money, the American money that is in Roma right now, that they were going to make something worthwhile. Well, he won the UEFA Europa Conference League, and now he's saying that he's going to stay at AS Roma despite links to PSG, because we are hearing in PSG that Pochettino is on his way out with Leonardo, and they're bringing in new people, and Mourinho was top of that list. But now he's going out categorically to say that he is staying at Roma. Do you think that's a good move for him?
It's a normal talk. He has a contract for it. So, you know, this PSG, they have a way of getting what they want.
At the end of the day.
Money. You know, so, and going to, PSG would be a very good one for his career. I mean, he has won everything available in Europe. So every club that he's going to, is going to surely, because what PSG want right now, they are tired of winning the Ligue 1.
Exactly.
They are just tired.
Because that's what they've been. That's what they're winning.
They just perennial winners. So they just want to move on to dominate Europe. And every season, this thing has been slipping off their hands.
Exactly.
I mean, this season that just ended, it was even worse for them.
And every season we start with this promise. Could this be PSG's year? Could this be Manchester City's year? I don't know whether it's is Al Khalifi's curse not to actually win the Champions League, but still, do you think Mourinho is the person to bring it to them?
He has experience. So having about 4, 5 coaches who are jostling to take over, because whether Pochettino will leave, surely he will, because you know this PSG is not like an Arsenal club. Sorry, I don't mean to put down Arsenal. I'm just saying they don't have patience
exactly.
to wait for you to prove whatever. They are, you know, once they get you 1, 2 seasons, they expect you to perform.
Because they've spent the money.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, Mourinho having the kind of experience he has. In fact, as it is, Mourinho is the most experienced coach, so to say, but having won every available trophy at the European level. Champions League, Europa, the conference that it was just instituted. So he has all the experience. So he will be on the edge amongst every other coach that they are considering right now, because at that Europe is where their eyes are to make things happen. And of course, the young man that just signed a new contract, I hear from the gossip that is happening all around papers from Europe that is the person he wants. Okay. I mean, because part of the deal that made him, or that is making him to stay back in PSG, is that whatever coach he prefers
will be the one to come.
They will be the one to come.
All right. Well, let's see how that unfolds. We'll keep our eye on that. And, of course, we'll bring you the developments as they happen minute by minute. That's how it has been on 360 Sports right here on Trust TV. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Ikenna Okonkwo for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. That's how it's been. And we'll keep an eye on it for you and, of course, give you nothing but the very best in sports. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thank you very much for watching.